Hi, I'm J.C. Morgan. I'm the director here at the Campbell County Public Library. 2020 has been a unique year for all of us, but it's definitely a unique year in that this is the first year that we've ever done an online videoed holiday open house. December is a special time for everybody. So many holidays, so many festivals. We put together this little video to help you enjoy just a few of them. Thank you.
Oh, hello! I was just about to read one of my favorite poems. This Was the Night Before Christmas by Clement C. Moore. I hope you enjoy. 'Twas the night before Christmas when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. While Mamma in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled down for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang to my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters, and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new-fallen snow gave the luster of midday to the objects below. When what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer. With a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donder, on Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall. Now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane flies, when they met with an obstacle, mount to the sky. So up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of toys and St. Nicholas too. And then with a twinkling I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur, from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked just like a peddler, just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry, his cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard of his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke encircled his head just like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed, like a bowl full of jelly. Yes, he was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of an eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk, and laying his finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team he gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him explain, as he drove out of sight, Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. Well, I want to thank you for sharing this time with me, and I hope you have the merriest of holiday seasons. I shall see you all as you are sleeping. Bye-bye for now.
Tenor Trio. I'm Chris Kringle. We have Michael Ronstadt on the cello and Bart Foster on the drums. And we will continue with another We song. This is We Three Kings of Orient Are. And we will conclude our three-song holiday set with Oh, Christmas Tree. Congratulations to everyone at the Campbell County Public Library. From all of us, Bart, Mike, and Chris from the Chris Comer Trio.
My name is Abby Schwartz, and I am the director of the Skirball Museum, which is a museum of Jewish art and artifacts on the campus of Hebrew Union College Jewish Institute of Religion in Clifton, which is a part of Cincinnati. And the main purpose of this campus is to train rabbis who are the clergy, the religious leaders for Jewish synagogues and other Jewish institutions in the United States and abroad. Today I'm here to tell you about the holiday of Hanukkah, which is a Jewish holiday that is celebrated in the wintertime. And the actual meaning of the word Hanukkah is dedication. And I'll get to why that word is meaningful for this holiday in just a moment. As I speak to you, you'll see some objects on this table that are from my personal collection, and these are all items that are used during the celebration of Hanukkah. And the Hanukkah story is an ancient one, and it involves the idea of religious freedom. The Jewish people in ancient times, at one point in their history, were ruled by the Greeks and the Syrians. And the Greeks pretty much allowed the Jewish people to worship as they chose. But a Syrian king whose name was Antiochus came along, and he decided that he didn't want the Jews to worship as they chose. So what happened was a small group of Jewish people, they were patriots and they believed strongly in their religion, decided to rebel against the Syrian king, and they were victorious. So a very small group was able to rise up against a larger power to achieve their religious freedom. So now comes the part about dedication. The temple where the Jews worshipped had been destroyed by Antiochus and his troops. And all of the things that were in the temple where the Jews worshipped were broken or damaged. And one of the things that was in the temple was an eternal light. It's a light that's supposed to stay lit all the time. And there was someone who always made sure there was enough oil for that lamp to be lit. And when they came in to try to put the temple back together, there was oil enough for only one day. But the miracle, according to the legends of Hanukkah, is that the oil lasted for 8 days. And so they used that oil to rededicate the temple. And that is what the word Hanukkah means, dedication, and in this case, rededicating the temple. So what I mentioned that the oil lasted for 8 days. So if you see before me, some of these objects have 8 openings, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then an additional one that makes 9. Here's again 8 openings for lights and an additional one. And here again, 8 openings. I've put 3 candles in this one and a single one to the side, always higher than all the other openings. These are all examples of a Hanukkiah, or a Hanukkah lamp, or Hanukkah menorah. They all mean the same thing. It's just an example of how the holiday is commemorated by Jews in their homes when they light the lights of Hanukkah. So if it was the first night of Hanukkah, you would use this candle, which is the shamash, or the leader candle, and you would use that candle to light the first light of Hanukkah. On the second night, you would light the first and the second. On the third night, you would light the first, second, and third, always using the leader candle, or the shamash, which is the ninth candle. And on a Hanukkah menorah or a Hanukkah, it is always just a little higher than all of the other openings for the lights. And back in the olden days, you would have oil in these lamps, but not with wicks, but now we have candles that we use to make it easier to light the Hanukkah lights. So these are all Hanukkiot, or that's the plural of Hanukkah, from my personal collection that I have at home. And sometimes when my children are near, or my grandchildren, we take them all out on Hanukkah and everybody gets to light a different Hanukkah. There are also some objects on this table that are used to play games during Hanukkah. And that is a dreidel. And it's simply a spinning top. You can see, if I get this right, how it spins. And it lands on a Hebrew letter. And each of the letters on the dreidel stand for a phrase in Hebrew that goes like this: Nes Gadol Haya Sham, which means a great miracle happened there, referring to the miracle of the oil that happened in ancient times in the temple. And children use pennies or pieces of, or raisins or small tokens, and each letter has a different meaning. You put a penny in, you take a penny out. You get the whole pot, you have to put everything back. And you play this game depending on what letter the spinning top falls, and then you have a little fun game for Hanukkah. There are also some special foods that are associated with Hanukkah, and they're foods that are made with oil. So one type of food is a potato pancake, or a latke, and those are fried in oil, again reminding us of the miracle of the oil for Hanukkah. Another tradition, particularly in modern Israel, are jelly donuts, or sufganiyot, and those too are fried in oil. So they are traditional foods for celebrating Hanukkah. Now, I have some very special objects that are part of the Skirball Museum's collection. So I'm going to put on my gloves to handle them and show them to you. And these are a couple of dreidels that are not really to be used so much as to be enjoyed as beautiful art objects. One of them is very tiny. It's right here, and it is made of metal, and it is has the four letters, as I mentioned, on all sides to indicate the different steps that you would use, or the different designations that there would be for playing the game with the dreidel. Now that one's a little hard to see because it's a little bit small, but I do want to show you another dreidel from our collection that is a lot larger and easier to see, but you would never be able to spin it, and we're not going to try. But this beautiful dreidel is decorated with, it's silver and gilt, and it has many different sections, each showing parts of the Hanukkah story. In one section, there is someone actually lighting a menorah. In another section, you see a soldier who is clearly one of the Maccabees, the group that rose up against the Syrian king, who is with his shield and his sword and about to do battle to save the Jewish people. So this is a beautiful example of a decorative dreidel, again, not one that would be actually used to play the game, but one that is for us to view in the museum. And this is another one, again from my personal collection, that is made of porcelain. So this is, and that's like what china is made of that you use on holidays as your dishes. Certainly didn't want to spin this too hard or it would break. So again, it's decorative as opposed to being something that you would use. These are the ones that really spin and that you can use to play the game of dreidel. Before we take a look at some beautiful Hanukkot that are part of the Skirball Museum's collection, which I can't handle or touch, just a couple of words about these 3 Hanukkot that are from my personal collection. As you might be able to see, this silver filigree Hanukkah is very much in the form of a conductor, the shamash or leader candle, conducting an orchestra. All of the figures on this Hanukkah are playing musical instruments, except for the one in the center, who is dressed as sort of a high priest wearing the mantle of the high priests of the ancient temple. This is a very contemporary glass Hanukkah that was made in Israel, as was this one. The silver filigree one was made in Israel. And this is a more traditional shaped Hanukkah that is small and easy and portable if you needed to travel for Hanukkah and wanted to bring one with you. And it's decorated with blue and white decoration, and blue and white are the colors of the Israeli flag. I thought it would be nice to show you some examples of some Hanukkot that are part of the Skirball Museum's collection that are very different from the ones we've already seen and very different from each other. The first of these is this Hanukkah by an artist named Marvin Lepovsky. He died in 2016. He was active in San Francisco. And this particular Hanukkah is made of hand-blown glass. So it's more delicate than a metal Hanukkah. But one of the things that's so interesting and different about this particular example is that it's in 2 parts. Notice that the shamash, or the leader candle, is higher than the other candles, and there are 4 openings for candles on this section and 4 on the other. And all together it has sort of a shell-like pattern, shapes that seem to come from nature, and it's very, very modern and contemporary. This Hanukkah that features statuettes of the Statue of Liberty was made by Manfred Anson. Manfred Anson was born in Germany and was able to escape Germany during the time of the Nazis and the Holocaust as part of the Kindertransport. The Kindertransport allowed children to escape the Holocaust by being sent to other countries to live with families who would keep them safe during this time. So he first went to Australia and then ended up in New York, where he made his home. In 1986, New York was celebrating 100 years since the giving of the Statue of Liberty by France to the United States. And there were many, many statuettes, small statues of the Statue of Liberty all over the city. And Mr. Anson began collecting these and using them as models to make this brass Hanukkah, which has 8 statues of liberty and then 1 in the front, which is the shamash, the leader candle. And each of these statuettes has a little inscription, something written on the front of it, that tells about times during the history of the Jewish people when they had to rise up against an oppressor, against someone who was trying to keep them from practicing their religion. Just like the original story of Hanukkah, when the small group of patriots and believers in religious freedom, the Maccabees, rose up against the king Antiochus. And so putting together the values of Hanukkah and this important holiday with the values of American freedom of religion and the story of this immigrant who came to the United States to practice his religious freedom. This is a wonderful joining of the story of Hanukkah and American freedom.
Ago.
Amen.
Ago.
Amen.
Thank you. Now, that is a language from Ghana. Ghana is a country from West Africa. So today, we're going to take you on a journey to Africa. Okay? So sit back, sit tight, and enjoy this journey with us from right where we are to Africa. Now, the song we're going to be singing is simply going to be saying, come with us to Africa, where wonders happen. We want you all to come with us and enjoy the wonders of Africa. Okay? Good. Now, ẹ̀sìn mi d'Áfíríkà, ojú mi rí kan, ayé kókó, ẹ wá bá wa ká,
Rebi ìrànwá, ayé kókó.
ẹ̀sìn wa d'Áfíríkà, ojú ma rí kan, ayé kókó, ẹ wá bá wa ká. Ifá ifá yo.
Ṣàtúnṣe Elédùmarè. 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 Gbà wá o.
Ó bá rújú ifá ni ẹ̀kẹ́ sí. Ó bá dàrú ẹ̀pẹ́ Ọ̀rúnmìlà. Ifá ifá yo.
Ṣàtúnṣe Elédùmarè. Elédùmarè. Elédùmarè.
Bàbá wẹ́rẹ́ àpòpọ̀ mi náà ní ẹ̀rọ. Yèyé àpòpọ̀ mi náà ní ẹ̀rí. Ìpàlàpàlà ìmọ̀hún dẹ̀wọ̀ ẹja gbé àwòrò ṣàṣà lóró jí a lọ.
Bàbá gbogbo mi náà ní ẹ̀rọ. Yèyé gbogbo mi náà ní ẹ̀rí. Ìpàlàpàlà yóò mú dẹ̀wọ̀ ẹja gbé àwòrán ṣàṣà lóró jà lọ.
Èlòyí èlòyí. Èlòyí èlòyí. Èlòyí èlòyí. Èlòyí èlòyí. just moved from Ghana to another part of Africa. And guess where we are? Nigeria. Now, in some parts of Nigeria, like let me say the western part of Nigeria precisely. So when we get to the king's palace, there's a way we greet the king, because of course when you go visiting, you're of course expected to greet first. That's how it is. Now, this is how the ladies would usually do it, or a younger child when greeting someone who is much older. This is how they do it, and especially the female. I'm going to be showing you the female part, and Mr. Dylan will show you how the boys, or the younger boys and men would do it. Now, we'll go down on both knees like this. Stretch your hands out. Are you following me? Okay, good. Now, the left hand over the right hand like this. Let your palms face each other. Lock your fingers together. Roll it in and out like that. Now, we're going to bow. But before we bow, let me teach you what we say. Kábíyèsí o.
Kábíyèsí o.
Good. Now, after 3, I'm going to say Kábíyèsí and bow. And that's how the ladies would usually do it. 1, 2, 3, go. Kábíyèsí o. Did you get that? Yes. And that's how females usually do it. Now, Mr. Dylan, you want to show us how the men would do theirs?
We're going to go down like a push-up.
And we're gonna say Ka-Bi-Eso as we go down. So watch. Ka-Bi-Eso.
Right. Did you get that? Thank you, Dylan. Thank you. Now, it's the king's turn to welcome us to the palace. And guess what? With the drum call. Guys, did you know drums talk? Oh yes, drums do talk. We're gonna be talking with our drums right now, okay? The king is gonna say welcome to the palace with the drum call. So sit back and enjoy. The king himself playing the drums. Normally the king is not the one who is going to be playing the drums. Of course, he has the kings. He has the palace drummers who are the ones who do the drums usually. Okay, now, unfortunately, we won't be staying long in Africa today. Oh, but guess what? We have to come back. Now, we're going to send you back from Africa and back to where you are with another drum call saying goodbye from Africa. Sit back again and enjoy. Okay. You ready, guys? Okay.
joining us, and thank you for making the library part of your holiday celebration. I hope that you'll make 2021 a great year for you. Thank you.
Happy holidays.